Arthur Cole had spent the last 3 hours on the edge. He sat in the back of his armored Mercedes, staring at a laptop screen where the numbers meant he was losing millions. It was a hostile takeover. The competition was playing dirty. He had just finished a harsh phone call that solved nothing. His driver, silent for the past hour, finally cleared his throat. "Mr. Cole, we can't get through. The street's blocked. An accident. We'll have to detour through the old neighborhoods. It will take about 20 minutes. "Do what you have to," Arthur snapped, his eyes still glued to the data. The car turned onto narrow, unfamiliar streets. The buildings here were lower, the paint peeling. Instead of high-end boutiques, there were small grocery stores and shoe repair signs. The car stopped at a red light. Arthur rubbed his temples, irritated. 20 minutes. 20 minutes that could cost him... And then his gaze fell on the sidewalk. There, on the dusty pavement, was an overturned cardboard box, and on it stood 2 children, a boy and a girl, about 8 years old. Twins. Both fair-haired, dressed cleanly but very poorly. They weren't playing, they were working. On the box in front of them sat a single item, a bright red, metal toy car. It was an old model, a classic limousine, with a few scratches, but you could tell it had been cherished. Next to it lay a poster, handwritten unevenly with the marker. "For sale, $100, for Mom's medicine." Arthur scoffed. $100 for a toy? Absurd. He watched. A woman with a stroller walked past. She didn't even look at him. A teenager in headphones ran by. A man in a work uniform stopped, squinted at the price, tapped his temple with his finger, and walked on. The girl sniffled. The boy immediately put his arm around her shoulder and said something Arthur couldn't hear, but his posture was that of a grown man protecting his family. The light turned green. "Go," said Arthur. The car moved 10 yards. "Stop," he said again. The driver hit the brakes. "Go back, over there, to those kids." Arthur got out of the car. The Maybach door closed with a quiet, expensive thud. The children flinched, staring at the huge, expensively dressed stranger. Arthur walked up to the box. "What are you selling?" he asked, though he could plainly see. The boy, Leo, stepped forward, shielding his sister, Mia. "A car," he said, trying to keep his voice from trembling. "It was our dad's. He left it for us. It's real metal." $100, Arthur raised an eyebrow. Mia suddenly darted out from behind her brother. Her eyes were full of tears. "Please, mister, buy it. Mom is really sick. She's coughing and can't breathe. The doctor wrote a prescription, and at the pharmacy they said it costs $98, and we don't have it. We gathered everything. We only have $3. Here," she held out a crumpled bill. "This was for bread. We don't have enough, but the car is really good." Arthur looked at the red limousine. He remembered. He'd had one just like it as a kid. He traded it for a broken pair of binoculars and regretted it immediately. "Why you?" he asked quietly. "Where is your mother?" "She's at home," Leo whispered. "She didn't know we left. She fell asleep. She said she'd go to the pharmacy when her paycheck came, but it's not coming. She got laid off." Something turned in Arthur's chest, something he hadn't felt since his own poor childhood. The problem of a billion-dollar hostile takeover suddenly felt flat, unreal. But a red toy car and a $98 shortfall for an inhaler, that was a real catastrophe. "I'll buy it," Arthur said. Leo and Mia froze. Arthur took his wallet from his pocket. He pulled out a crisp $100 bill. "Here," he held it out to the boy. Leo looked at the money, then at the car. He carefully took the bill, then just as carefully he picked up the limousine and held it out to Arthur. "Thank you," he said seriously. Arthur took the heavy, cold toy. "And now," he said, putting the car into his coat pocket, "show me where your pharmacy is, and where your home is." The children looked at each other. "Don't be afraid. I won't hurt you." Let's go." 5 minutes later, they were at the pharmacy. Arthur looked at the prescription, an expensive imported medication for severe asthma. He bought it, and 2 refills, and vitamins. Then they climbed the stairs to their tiny apartment on the 4th floor. The room was clean, but it smelled of poverty and medicine. On the sofa, covered with an old blanket, lay a pale young woman. She coughed, opening her eyes. "Leo, Mia, where were you?" She was frightened, seeing a stranger with them. "Mom, Arthur stepped forward. "Hello, my name is Arthur. Your children just made a very good deal with me. They sold me a consultation." The woman, her name was Helen, understood nothing. "They told me you're an accountant," Arthur lied, quickly assessing the situation. "Yes, but I was laid off." "Excellent. My company is looking for a remote auditor. I'll leave you my assistant's card. Call him as soon as you feel better. Here." He placed the bag of medicine on the table. Helen looked at the medicine to Arthur. "I don't understand. Why are you—" "Because," Arthur said, "you have very smart children. They are excellent negotiators." He turned to leave. "Wait!" Leo cried. "The car!" Arthur stopped. He took the red limousine out of his pocket. He looked at it for a second, then walked over and placed it on the table next to the medicine. "This," he said, "is an advance for your future work, Helen, and a bonus for my new business partners. Take care of it, and take care of your mom." He left without waiting for an answer. When Arthur got back into the Mercedes, the driver already had the engine running. "To the office, Mr. Cole?" Arthur looked at his laptop screen. The numbers were still glowing red. Millions were draining away. He closed the laptop. "No," he said. "Let's go home. To my son." He dialed his deputy. "Listen to me. Sell the problem asset, all of it. Yes, I know we'll lose 40 million. Sell it. I found something more important." That night, for the first time in 10 years, Arthur Cole slept peacefully. The lives of Leo, Mia, and Helen would never be the same. But on that day, his own life had changed too. He had lost the battle for millions, but without knowing it, he had won something priceless.